Okay, so let's continue with section 2A of module 3, topic 1. Let me see. So this is what I did for the first section. And now let's go to section 2. Okay. Like I said, you can download it, print it out, or you can go ahead and do the work on a separate sheet of paper, upload it, anything that whatever's easier for you to do. Okay. So here we go. Let's go ahead and do this. So complete each table and graph the function, identify the constant ratio and the y-intercept. Okay, so we got a few things to do. Let's see. We're going to first we're going to complete the graph, complete the table. We're going to do the graph, and then we can identify the constant ratio and what the y-intercept is. Okay, so we got a few things to do. Okay, so let's see. So we got f of x equals 2 to the x. Okay, so usually we start with choose some numbers for x, but they're already given us the numbers for x, so all we're doing is we're plugging in those numbers in for the value of x. Okay, so the first one I'm going to plug in -2 for x, so I'm going to have 2 to the -2nd power. Okay, now I believe we already covered this before. What is a number to a negative exponent? Okay, now if I remember correctly, some of you will say, well, it's going to be -4. Okay, but what you got to remember is 2 to the 2nd power, the negative exponent only does, it's going to turn it into a fraction. So we got 1 over 2 to the 2nd, and 2 to the 2nd is equal to 1 over 4. Okay, and then we got 2 to the -1, so we got 2 to the -1. And again, the negative exponent, all it's going to do is going to flip it. So we got 1/2. Okay. And then we got 2 to the 0 power. And then I probably would ask you, like, what's any number to the 0 power? And some people will say 0. But if you put it in the calculator with the exponent, you'll find out that 2 to the 0 power is equal to 1. And any number to the 0 power is equal to 1. So there's 1. And then we got 2 to the 1st. Okay, well, 2 to the 1st, that's just 2. And we got 2 to the 2nd. Well, 2 to the 2nd, that's just 4. Okay, so there's our points. So now let's go ahead and graph it. So -2 and 1/4. So we're gonna kind of like estimate what 1/4 is. There's -2 right there, and that's -1. That's -1/2. So it's probably gonna be around right there. Okay, and then we got -1.5. So 1/2 will be right between 0 and -1 right there. And then we got 0 and 1. Okay. And some of you are already thinking about this, like, oh, that looks like the y-intercept. And then we got 1 and 2. And we have 2 and 4. Okay, so there's our graph. Let's go ahead and connect the dots. It's gonna be hard to put this on slides and stuff because we're doing this graph, and I'm not sure if it gives me the option of make like a curved line, but it looks something like this. Okay, so there's our graph. Next thing we want to do is we want to find the constant ratio. So what's our constant ratio? The constant ratio is the number that we're multiplying by or that we're going by. Okay, so how much are we multiplying by every time? Well, if you have trouble with fractions, don't look at the fractions, look at the whole numbers. So how do you go from 1 to 2? You multiply by 2. From 2 to 4, you multiply by 2. So our constant ratio is 2. That means we're multiplying by 2. Okay. Next thing, what's our y-intercept? Okay. So our y-intercept is going to be right there. Where does the graph crosses our y-axis, and it crosses at 0, comma 1. Okay. Now, you probably figure it out later on as you work out the problems, but this is our 0, 1. That's when x equals 0. What is y? And if you remember the problems before we did in the first section, it was like the first number. So this, we could write it as f of x is equal to 1 times 2 to the x power. So this number right here gives us our y-intercept, and this number right here gives us the number that we're going by, or a constant ratio. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. There are a few assignments you're going to do, but make sure you have a scientific calculator that you can be using to just plug in the numbers. Okay, shouldn't be too complicated. But if you have any problems, I'm always on Zoom, so you can connect to it or send me an email, and we'll figure out how I can help you. Okay. Okay. Thank you.